Ruth Sturkio is the CEO and founder of Invent Your Future Enterprises, and she's been with us before to talk about the courses and the opportunities that are offered through the Invent Your Future conference, as well as the ongoing seminars throughout the year. So Ruth, it's wonderful to have you back. Congratulations on another successful year anticipated for the conference.
Thank you so much, Janice. It's great to be here.
So April 24th, what can people look forward to?
Well, really a day to become invigorated again, really take a step back and look at your career and see what you need to do to get to the next level, whether it's your career or your business.
Yes, and that's what's wonderful about this annually, because you put together a program that really is tiered for every level, from college age students to mid-career people to people at the end of their career who might be reevaluating what they want to do.
We deliberately approach the 5 generations that are currently in the workplace, and so we actually have a track for high school girls and events right through to the executive suite.
That's really wonderful. When you decided that you were going to launch this conference, you'd had experience with conferences before, and the title of it is really stimulating. And one of the things that you encourage women to do is talk to themselves honestly about their career. Many times women become afraid to say, I don't like this, but I think I have to keep going in this direction. But you have helped a lot of women make changes. Can you share some of those anecdotes about that?
Well, sure. And I think part of it is that there's very little in life that we can control, but the one thing you can't control your job, but you can control your career and where you're going with it. Mm-hmm. And I think we all need to consider ourselves as entrepreneurs of our own career, so that no matter what's happening in the marketplace, you're prepared for the next level, prepared to take the next step, keeping up to date with what's going on. So I think some of the great stories that come out of our conference are the women that come a little bit lost and uncertain. Perhaps they've been laid off from a job or their industry is in decline and they're looking for some new opportunities. And so really by connecting with a wide variety of diverse people, and we try and bring in the latest thought leaders or identifying trends, and they come away inspired and with some optimism and some renewed skills.
Yes, one of the things that I really enjoyed, because I've been privileged to participate, is last year interviewing Martha Beck, who's known for her best-selling books as an old columnist, and she really had some great wisdom in terms of tuning into yourself, being even very still, and recognizing the connection that we all have.
She had a great line. She talked about making your way in the wild new world, and I think it is pretty wild these days. But part of it is in knowing yourself, and one of the first things that's really important to do is sort of a self-assessment of what's on your assets, what are your list of assets, what do you bring to the table, and what do you need to develop.
Right. And certainly in this economy, a lot of people have said, well, I have these skills, but I have to do something. Now that it seems like things are looking a little better, is it time to start to think more broadly, or should you still make sure that you're keeping that focus pretty close and narrow?
No, I think it's important to be open to the opportunities that come your way, and to think more broadly than just what your background or your education suggests. I think it's critical, for example, to embrace technology. So perhaps if you have a liberal arts background, you may not be fluent in the language of technology, but you have to realize that just about every job opportunity now, whether you want to design dresses or be a great writer or whatever, you really need to understand the language of technology, because that's really driving a lot of change in the job market.
Yes, and speaking of change in the job market, certainly the leaked memo from Yahoo regarding the fact that employees will no longer be allowed to telecommute after June has stirred a lot of controversy, and we've heard of other employers also adopting similar policies that they plan to implement. What are your thoughts about that in terms of, one, how it impacts business productivity, but two, in terms of lifestyle for people who found telecommuting has been a great way to have flexibility?
Well, I'm actually grateful to Marissa Mayer and Yahoo for opening up this subject. I think it's been sort of under the radar screen for a while. There's a lot of concern about it. You can look at it from both standpoints. From an individual, obviously it's highly beneficial to have as much flexibility as possible. And now that women make up more than half of the workforce, it's increasingly important for them to have flexibility so that they can take care of their families as well. There's enough evidence to suggest that people are very productive working from home. Where it comes into a bit of a problem is where you have teams working on design. And clearly, getting together in person is really very important for them too. There's nothing to say you can't do both. And I think with enough thought and really careful communication, I'm looking to see what long-term opinions will come out of Yahoo as to what they're planning, because I think you can't really go against the grain. The general movement now is towards flexibility in the workplace. It's becoming increasingly important. There's evidence that productivity can be very high when people have that flexibility. It's better for the environment, keeping some of the cars off the freeways. Yes. There's a lot of positive benefits. And I think it's a mistake perhaps for a company that's struggling in one area of with its business strategy to blame flexible working environment. I don't think that's causing the problem.
So from a strategic standpoint, in terms of someone who might need advice if they have to make a decision regarding that, what would your advice be? Well,
I actually would look at the company and the culture, because it varies tremendously. And I think we are entering into a period of great shortages for qualified employees in the technical world, in the technical space. So I think for companies that want to compete for the best talent, they're going to need to really look at this very closely and offer some flexibility.
Yes, and we'll keep watching, because
watch the space.
Yes, there are going to be lots of discussions about this and new policies, I imagine, too. And we talked about what you can look forward to at the conference on April 24th, but year-round you have programs. So what are some of the other programs that Invent Your Future Enterprises offers?
Well, we do a series of webinars throughout the year, which are opportunities to connect with thought leaders. We've had Charles Duhigg talking about the power of habit. We've had Charlotte Beers talking about leadership. And it's a great opportunity for people actually all over the world now participate in these. We had people from 13 different countries the last webinar. You actually get the chance to ask questions live. And we're building an online digital library, because we want these resources, these wonderful sessions, to be recorded and to be accessible to people year-round. So we've launched a digital library last year, and that's very exciting. And that's kind of where we're going.
Yes. Wonderful things, always innovative. Ruth, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
If you'd like to attend the Invent Your Future conference, details are on our screen.